Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. So this week, I want to talk a little bit about relationships. And I know that I've talked about relationships a good bit on the channel so far, but I just feel like I learn so much with every new relationship, every new fling, every new thing. I learn a little something different. And since I got out of my last relationship in January, so what it's been like 10 months. It's been like 10 months since I was in my last relationship. And in that time, I've had like two flings. One that was maybe just like more of like a physical fling. And then the other one that I was like, no, I really like this guy. Like I would date this guy, right? So I've had two kind of situations in that time frame. And both ended in the same old. You know, I'm not ready for a relationship, essentially just wanting yet another situationship. And I kept finding myself getting like, I don't know, really pessimistic about dating in general and just wondering like, why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? I kept telling myself like, I am so ready for a relationship. I don't understand why I keep attracting men that don't want what I want. How do I go about finding a man that wants what I want? And it was starting to really get to me and make me think really negatively about dating, really negatively about men, really negatively about myself. Like, why is this not happening for me? And I am not of the opinion that all men are bad. I am not of the opinion that there are not good men out there. I know there are great men out there. I know there are men out there that want what I want. I see it. I have friends that are great men. I have friends that want what I want. I just, for some reason, am continuously not attracting it into my life. Then it really got me kind of self-reflecting, because if a pattern keeps repeating in my life, maybe the problem is not external, maybe the problem is me. And I just kind of got to thinking, like, I've spent so much of 2023 working on myself, really trying to fix some of the major issues in my life that kind of led to the headspace that I was in last year. And I've been doing a lot of cleanup, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of work on myself. And I think in doing all of that, I thought that that was all making me ready for a relationship. I thought that that work meant that I was ready to enter into that phase of my life and like do it right and do it healthy and all of those things, right? But what I found is that in that one situation that I was in, that I really did have feelings for the guy, I quickly realized how anxiously attached I am in relationships and how easily I spiral when relationships are not going well. And that really made me take a step back, because it made me realize that with all of the work that I've done in 2023 on me personally, I don't know that I've done the work yet on me romantically, me through the lens of a relationship. I don't know that I've done the work that I need to do in that department to actually be ready for a relationship. And I just kept thinking, when this situation was coming to an end, it consumed me. It consumed my thoughts, it consumed my feelings, it hurt my feelings on an incredibly deep level, even though I knew exactly what was coming. This was not a situation that was new to me at all. Like, I spiral, and I really don't like that. And I don't think that that is the kind of attitude that I want to enter into a relationship with. So then it got me thinking, well, why? Why do I spiral every time I really like a person and it starts to go south, or I feel them pulling away, or I can see the end of the tunnel? Like, why do I absolutely fall apart and spiral every time that happens? I don't think I have done the work to get over the hurt that my past relationship caused me. Relationships, but the last one specifically, I don't think that I have really dug into what that did to me on a core level. And it's not just the other person, right? I think so much of taking control of your future in terms of relationship is accepting the fact that what happened to me in my last relationship, I am not talking about any type of abuse or anything like that. But what happened to me emotionally in my last relationship, I allowed that person to treat me that way. I showed that person how they were allowed to treat me, and therefore they treated me exactly like that. And I think that that is something that realizing that and taking accountability and ownership of that is so healthy and so good, because it does allow you to take control of the future once you realize that you are in control of it in the first place. But I also think that it scares me a little bit. I think it scares me a little bit because I don't want anyone to have that level of control over my emotions again. I don't want anyone to be able to make me feel that way again. And that all starts with me. I allow people to treat me certain ways. I have allowed people to allow me to feel certain ways. Like, all of that always comes back to me. And I don't know that I have done the work to properly address what has happened and to properly change the habits and tendencies within me that allows that cycle to continue to repeat itself. And I think that got me thinking that why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? Well, maybe I am just as emotionally unavailable as these men are, and that's why it's the energy that I keep attracting into my life. And when I thought about that, it really made me think, because so much of me says, in every fiber of my being has been saying, I am ready for a relationship. Like, I feel like I'm in the healthiest place physically, mentally, emotionally that I've been really maybe ever in my life. I feel like I'm in that place right now. Like, this is when I'm ready for someone to come into my life. I feel like I could really, take care of that relationship and nurture that relationship and show up properly in that relationship. But the reality is that relationships are not always good. Relationships have a lot of ups and downs, and especially in the beginning, relationships can be difficult when you're trying to kind of figure out what you are, if you're moving in the same direction, And then as time goes on and people start to change and priorities start to change and life starts to happen, relationships can be tough. They can go through a lot of different phases. And my biggest fear is how emotionally wrapped up I get in another person and how much my self-worth and my emotions are wrapped up in the success of my relationship. I don't want to put that much pressure on the next relationship that I'm in, because I am also aware that relationships end. And I think that is the core of my potential emotional unavailability. I am scared to death to have another relationship end because of how low I felt when my last relationship ended. I think I am so scared, subconsciously, consciously, I don't know. I think I am so scared to actually get into a emotionally available adult relationship, because the reality of those relationships is that you either end up together long term or you break up. And I don't know what ending up with someone long-term feels like, but I sure as hell know what breakups feel like. And I think I am internally extremely scared that I'm not ready to feel that way again, or that I'm going to feel that low again. And I do think that I've done work on myself emotionally and like deep work on myself to hopefully never get as low as I got last time. But it's a fear of mine for sure. And I think that's why a lot of times when I do attract these men and we get into the same situation over and over again and I feel them start to pull away, or I kind of know the conversation that's about to happen, or I feel like I'm knocking on the door of like, we're pushing things too far, they're gonna run. I have so much baggage from that in the past because that is entirely what my last relationship was just waiting for the shoe to drop. I was waiting for the person to run. I was waiting for the person to walk away. I always knew that they were 1 foot out the door. And I allowed that because I kept coming back. I kept saying yes. I kept allowing myself to be a part of that relationship. And I know that. But I think that's why I get so anxiously attached and end up ultimately pushing the other person away when I feel that shift in energy start to happen. Because I think that's my attempt to regain control of the situation is like, you're not gonna leave me, I'm gonna leave you. Or you're not gonna leave me, I'm gonna push you away, right? Like I can feel myself, and I hate this part of myself when I get in these situations. I can feel it happening, I can feel it coming out of my mouth. Like I know that this side of me exists and I absolutely hate it. I can get extremely passive aggressive. I can get very snappy. I can start to put words in a person's mouth. Like these are very toxic traits that I do possess when I start to feel someone pull away from me. That is when you will see that side of me come out, and it is easily my least favorite side of my personality. And so much of it I know comes from the trauma that I've dealt with in my past relationships, and I think this is the work that I need to do to be able to show up properly in the next relationship, not just for the other person, but more importantly, show up properly for myself. Because I think that's why I keep attracting the energy that I keep attracting, is because I'm not confident that I got me. I'm not confident that I'm not going to end up on the bathroom floor again. I'm not confident that I'm not going to end up in bed crying for 3 days again. Like I need to build that confidence in myself that like, even if things go south, even if things don't work out, I got me. Like we're going to be good. You're going to be okay. You have done all of this work on yourself. You have really dived into the trauma that you've dealt with in the past and like what issues that's caused you. You are in control of your boundaries this time. You are in control of what you do and don't allow in this relationship. You are in control of your emotions. I've got to get to that place. And I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And it became blatantly obvious when this most recent situation that I was in started to go south, and I saw that side of my personality come out. And I mean, it's like immediately when it comes out of my mouth, I just want to like drag it back in because I know how I'm being. And then I just want to kick myself when I'm alone because I'm like, you are pushing this person away. Like, of course they're gonna walk away. It's a really big realization that I've had recently. It's really easy to place the blame elsewhere. All men are bad. No one is emotionally available these days. Everyone wants a situationship. A lot of that is true. A lot of that is modern dating in 2023, and it is ass. But also, I think a lot of it, for me personally, and I think a lot of people out there, is maybe work that we should turn inward on. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm done dating for a little while. I think I'm done with that whole world for a little while, because while I've taken 10 months off and while I've really not gone there during that time, I need some more time to work on me. And I don't want to feel that way again. I don't want to feel myself spiral again. I don't want to feel that way again. I don't even have energy for that right now in my life. I don't want it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break. I think I'm gonna look inward a little bit more. Hopefully in 2024, I'm gonna be able to get back into therapy. It is all such a financial thing and difficult, but that is a goal for me in 2024. But even if I'm not able to do that, I am going to try and do the work on myself and like really get in the right headspace, because I do want this. I think it's totally okay to admit that you want a relationship in your life and you want that loving feeling in your life. I want that. I want a nice, healthy adult relationship. I want to build a life with someone. I want that. I don't know why women, especially, I feel like in today's day and age, are a little scared to admit that they want love, that like they want that, they need that. It adds value to their life, and I do. I want that. But I also know that relationships are tough in and of themselves. And so I would like to take the time to do the work on myself to hopefully show up as the best version of me the next go round. So if you keep wondering why you're attracting emotionally unavailable people, why you keep attracting toxic relationships, why you're not getting out of relationships what you in your head want, maybe take a look at yourself. Maybe there's a little bit of work you could do inside to start to attract the energy that you wish for yourself in your life. Thank you guys so much for another great episode. I hope you liked last week's episode about making friends as an adult, making friends in a new city. It's been such a year, so many new things, so many lessons learned, and I'm gonna keep coming back to you week after week with my little tidbits and thought processes and just streams of consciousness with you guys. As always, please drop a comment below. I love hearing from y'all. I love hearing your stories. I love hearing your points of views. I love connecting with y'all. So drop me a comment below, like, follow, share, rate, comment, subscribe. Do all of the things. I will see you back next week.